Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is finally a fire ceremony again. And one part is wrapping up and closing cycles from past ceremonies over the last 2 months, I think. Maybe a little longer. I'm not exactly sure anymore. It was basically before I got busy with all my paperwork and whatever, which was in April. So yeah, it could be more than 2 months, but anyhow, something around there. So I have collected all that stuff in these bags that I'm gonna put in the fire. Here's some more. This was some of the dark veil that I cut off. This was a root that also symbolized the way that could split. This one kind of broke a little bit in the bag, but that was one piece. Then the tower for the dark ones. And then I have some new stuff that I'm adding in here. So one is here in the park, as I was collecting firewood for this fire. I found Mickey Mouse all torn apart, and I feel that this represents how fun in our childhood was basically under attack. It was torn apart, it was torn to shreds, well, not fully, but enough that we ended up being emotionally damaged, right? So you can see one ear is missing in the back, some of the brain of Mickey Mouse here got ripped out, and clearly there's a hole, oh my gosh, which is actually on the side where the heart is. I just realized that now. So there's a big gaping hole where the heart should be. Wow, that is insanely telling. So this shall represent our healing from all the childhood trauma that we endured. So this is actually, wow, even more important than I realized when I picked it up. Then I'm going to put in the toy car. That's a nice wooden toy car that I've had in my bag for a while, and I knew that I would want to use it at some point, and today's the day, because this shall represent joy and happiness and lightheartedness for our inner child, right? So bringing back the joy and happiness, the lightheartedness, just being in the moment, that it shall represent. And, oh, sorry, I forgot something else. A while ago, I had a belt buckle break on me. Look here. And I actually glued it back together, and it lasted a while longer, but it broke again. And I want to put this in the fire to also represent the abuse that many went through. Now, I personally was not beaten by my parents, but my dad was still beaten as a child, and my grandparents were. My mom wasn't. She was punished with the silent treatment, but for months on end, so that was a different form of abuse, right? And she was neglected, so anyhow, but either way, this shall represent abuse, as well as this. However, the poor little abused Mickey Mouse shall represent how that basically damaged our joy and happiness, right? Our lightheartedness. And bringing in the joy again with the toy car, I also want to put in this string, and basically moving forward, we shall no longer attract any kind of relationships and connections where strings are attached. So none of that, I will do this for you if you do that for me kind of thing, right? No. It's either you want to help me and you do it willingly without expecting anything directly in return, or it's not a deal, right? If any of you have seen the movie Sleeping with the Enemy that stars Julia Roberts. I think the movie's like maybe 30 years old, 20, 30 years old, I think. But there, when she escaped her abusive marriage, her neighbor was kind of like jokingly saying, because she was picking up apples from his garden, well, that I think might have fallen on her property or just on the edge, something like that. But she picked up like a whole bunch of apples and wanted to make apple pie. And he said, I'll make you a deal. You can keep the apples if you make me a pie. And she said, no deal. And she dropped all the apples, right? So that's what we're moving into, right? Like no more deals. No, I will do this for you if you do that for me. Everything shall be done willingly, shall be given freely, or not at all, right? So then I have the wax. Here. The wax from a few days ago, and that was from last night's ceremony, where actually I saw a few more sort of dark birds with beaks, and one bird man that looked defeated. However, when I arrived, like some of this was a little bit broken and it didn't quite survive the transport completely, but I also broke it apart so that I can put it in the fire, and it was a little harder to see, so just trust me, please. So that will all go in the fire, and I just found this amongst the kindling that I collected at the water. When I got the water for the fire, right? But it's a little further over. Whoops. But this reminds me of ginseng. So that's healing, right? So this shall symbolize our healing, our continued healing, that we're really reaching a place of being healthy, being strong, centered, and grounded again within ourselves, and knowing our self-worth, knowing what we're willing to accept and not accept, and how we want to be treated, how we deserve to be treated, and that we will only allow people to treat us with respect and dignity, right? Or as much as we're able to, how should I put this? We may have some people come at us, but in a disrespectful way, but we will handle it with integrity. That's it. Okay, now, there is, like when I pulled out the stuff from my bag, the fire making bag, this was all tangled up. So, basically, the wooden figurine was being strangled by the purple or violet netting. Then the yellow string is all around the body. So the yellow cord, meaning the solar plexus, and then at the feet, like holding us back from moving forward, is the green cord, right? So the heart string. So the cord that we still have to those dark ones, or they have to us, or either way, that's still kind of entangling us in a way that we're tripping up and not able to move ahead freely. And our personal power is still a bit hindered, and somehow our spiritual connection is still being sort of hung in a sense, or we're still hung up on not being able to fully connect spiritually. There's still something where we're being held back. Now, this can be directly from the dark ones, or it can be because of belief systems we've adopted, where they made us basically block a lot of the stuff that was our spiritual connection by doubting it, by dismissing it, by basically just brushing it off. And also, like, for many of us who were raised in a culture and society that was more focused on logic and science than spirituality, for many of us it's quite a struggle to overcome that that programming that we have within us from basically doubting everything that is spiritual and that is our spiritual connection, right? So I'm gonna put that in directly as that, but I realized I forgot to cut off the plastic tags, so I want to quickly do that. Give me a second here. I'm trying to do this one-handed while holding the camera. It's not ideal, but it works. So here's, hold on. They're not as easy to cut. 1 second, I'll get it. Here we go. Okay, one off, into my pocket. Here we go. And here's the other one. Okay, because I ripped off the packaging, but I guess at the time I didn't remove that. Okay, so forgive me, this violet netting and webbing is not really natural, but I feel it still needs to, it should go in just energetically speaking, but at the same time, maybe I'll just cut it off and throw that in the garbage afterwards. Although it's like sometimes you gotta weigh the options between the energetic effect that is required and the the environmental effect. So let me just see if I can. Yeah, I think I can probably just cut off the dark cord that leads to that and put that in. Okay, so I think we're ready. Let me actually put my little mini pocket knife there. I don't think I have the other scissors here. I think I left those at home. So let us smudge with the fire smoke. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed, and transmute it into pure divine essence and return it to the divine for reintegration. And help us be fully and completely reconnected to our own inner divinity, as well as that all around us, and through that be in oneness with all of creation again. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. And let us call in our divine team now. Oh, there's some metal. 1 sec. Okay. Dear divine higher power of the universe, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are of the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all 4 directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all 4 elements, air, oh wait a minute, sorry, air, like the smoke, earth, fire, and water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe that are of the light. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. Oh, let us give lots of thanks to our divine team for all the guidance, all the protection, for letting everything fall into place perfectly, exactly when we're truly ready. Forgive us when our human mind tries to control things or is impatient, when we feel things are not moving ahead as we expect them to. Please give us frequent reminders in those cases that everything is moving ahead exactly as planned and as it should. And now help us do the healing. Let us start by wrapping up all the stuff from past ceremonies, and I'm starting by putting in the most recent wax from the banishing. This will add beautiful fuel to our fire and reawaken it more strongly. Whoops. Okay, maybe I'll feed it bit by bit. Okay, so the first two pieces are in. Let the tower be put in to help us as well as those that keep coming at us have those moments of epiphany and receive all the help and guidance for the healing journey ahead. And let all the past healings that we've been doing be fully and completely closed. Let all those cycles be closed by putting all the remaining stuff in the fire that I've collected to fully and completely close and finish everything that needs to be energetically finished through burning. And it's gonna start smoking again more in a moment. Starting the wax there. Whoops. And here's more. I'll have to feed some of it again because once it starts falling down I have to pick it up again. But let's get the big stuff in the bag. Let's put that in. And I feel like I might have to help it a little bit with a bit of oil, a bit more oil. This is vegetable oil, it's all natural. Let me just open that. It's coming, but I just want the fire to be a little bit bigger while I'm filming. So let's see. This should come up nicely. This shouldn't take too long. Okay, then this is done, this is done. Here, some more stuff. And honestly, oh, not the plastic. No. But there's some stuff that's stuck. Okay, this is actually good. So the Play-Doh should not go in, and it didn't want to come out, so that will go in the garbage. Wait, where was the other thing? Oh yeah, here. So that will go in the garbage. Then there's one more bit of black salt that I had used in one ceremony for some of the banishings. That shall be right in there. And let us heal from any and all abuse that either we or our ancestors endured being raised in a way in which at the time parents felt children needed to be raised, and how they were probably raised and they felt it was the way that children needed to be disciplined. So let us take a moment to understand how especially when people have children fairly young and they haven't had a chance to do their own healing, and they're probably in over their heads, maybe stuck in a marriage that they didn't really want. Think about back in the day when people didn't necessarily marry for love and have the chance to get divorced if it didn't work out. Like back in those days, either it was arranged, or even if they married for love but it didn't last, they were stuck with each other, right? So there was a lot of unhappiness and frustration that went into raising children with the person that they may not have wanted to stay with if they couldn't find a way to find happiness within themselves, right? So let us take a moment to forgive our ancestors for not being able to be the perfect loving parents that we would have wanted them to be, and send them lots of love and light for having done the best that they could while feeling stuck, and while they might have felt like a victim themselves, not realizing that they were also perpetrator towards their children and then grandchildren and so on, right? We bless them with love and release the abuse from our lives, and our inner child shall be healed as well, and the big gaping hole in our hearts and that of our ancestors, of our caregivers, of our parents, older siblings, uncles, aunts, cousins, whoever influenced us in a toxic way. Let us forgive them, for they also did the best they could, and they loved us in the best way that they could, and we returned that love in the best way that we could. So let us heal our hearts, and by burning this damaged and attacked Mickey Mouse without a heart, let us heal from all that childhood abuse, from all that killjoy. Let us recover, come back to our roots. Let us have joy, happiness, fun, and lightheartedness in our lives again, and help us heal our inner child through that joy and happiness, simply by doing things that we enjoy, and help us regain our self-respect, our confidence, our integrity, our strength, our ability to set good, strong boundaries, and to no longer accept anything less than what we deserve, and we deserve the best. We deserve proper respect. We deserve to be treated with dignity and kindness. We deserve a life free from strings. So we shall no longer accept any strings that people might want to attach. No more strings attached. And let me put a little bit more oil. I really want this to burn. It's smoking, but it's not quite burning. So let me just pour a bit more on here. Once it catches fire, it'll be... Oops, sorry. I didn't hold the camera quite right. So I did pour a bunch of oil on at the top. And you can see, like, there's stuff happening. Will start burning more. Oh, maybe I can also poke this at the bottom. Give me a moment here. No, that's still not burned through. Ah, here we go. Okay, some flames are coming through. Oh, it's so smoky now. See at the top? Okay, we're good. We're good. It's coming. And let us free ourselves from those cords, the yellow ones that have been keeping us from being in our power. Let me see if I can cut. Somehow I'm having trouble cutting this. Give me a moment here. Okay, here's one part. Let me see if I can get that off. Yeah, okay, so let any and all cords that these dark ones still had to us now be burned. Let us be in our power, and let any cords to our hearts be removed so that we're no longer held back from moving forward, from moving ahead with the things that we want to do in this lifetime, where we held ourselves back because of those dark cords that these dark ones had to us, to our hearts, were for example, we were always discouraged from going for our dreams to, let's say, quote unquote, spare us the disappointment, or, you know, things like that, where they wanted to have us not even try, because if you don't try, you don't fail. So there's no disappointment, right? So it's a very negative way of looking at life by simply not even trying. And let us also remove the black ties that prevented us from our spiritual connection, or maybe not fully prevented, but that limited our spiritual connection. Oh wait, I think I can cut in here. That should be okay. Okay, it's gripping, but give me a moment here. Okay, not quite. Oops, sorry. Okay, I got it. Okay, so here is, and it's actually still like a noose from being hung. So, oh, thanks. So basically, in a sense, we were hanging ourselves with those limiting beliefs that negated our spiritual connection by denying everything, or by explaining it away, or by dismissing it and so on, right? Like, oh, that was just a weird feeling I had. No, that was your intuition screaming, right? So, oh, and the tower is falling. Look at that. It just fell. So, let the dark cord and noose that prevented us from our true and strong spiritual connection, let that be put in the fire, be burnt away and transmuted. And this I will actually throw away, as I mentioned earlier. But let us, even though we look a little twisted here, see the legs are all twisted back, but we're gonna dance again, because if you look at the top part of the body, it almost looks like dancing, right? A little bit awkward, but let me move that. Okay, that looks much better. Look at that. So we're gonna dance again. We're gonna be happy again. We're gonna have joy and happiness and fun in our lives again, in new ways, with our new soul family that we're now attracting, and with that, new quote-unquote careers. Many of us are not gonna work in regular jobs for too much longer. Many of us are in the process of transitioning, and that can be that right now we're just learning certain things that we're gonna need in our new earth life. So right now we're in the process of healing and learning things and transitioning slowly but surely. So while we're doing that, let us be patient with ourselves, let us be kind, and Great Spirit of the Fire, please transmute any fears and anxieties that are still within us that make us worry. Help us fully and completely trust the process. Help us know that we're gonna be 100% okay, and everything is gonna come to us exactly when the time is right. There is no need to rush the process. If we get land that, let's say, we want, it may not be this year, it may be next year or in 2 years or 5 years, but it will happen. So there's no reason to panic. We're attracting everything into our lives. The more we heal, the more those blessings are gonna start streaming in. And I'm now gonna feed some more of that wax. Oh, now it's burning beautifully. There's some more of the wax to close energetically the banishings that we did of these toxic energies. And hold on, the rest I'm just gonna sort of shake down there. Okay, I think that's good. And the other one here is pretty much one piece, still amazing. That's gonna go right on top. And make sure small little pieces. Whoops. And last but not least, I forgot to mention that in the beginning, I actually put out some wildflower seeds here in this park because it's all just grass. So I wanted to attract them, and it's bee friendly, right? So just to get hopefully some bees into this park and to support them, because from what I remember there aren't really a lot of wildflowers here. Well, there's some stuff, like the bushes here have some flowery stuff, but other than that I haven't seen a lot of flowers around. So just to also help out our bee population a little bit, and also to beautify the world a bit around us, right? So to give back to Mother Earth and to thank her. Wow, now it's an amazing fire. Thank you, Mother Earth, for being so beautiful and for offering us everything that we need. Sorry on behalf of humanity for having destroyed so much of that beauty through the industrial, modern way of life. Help us find the way back to living in harmony with nature. Help guide us step by step. I'm feeling very, very emotional. I feel like Mother Earth is very happy that so many of us are now on the path to changing the way that humanity has abused Mother Earth. Even though we may not be perfect yet in all the ways in which we're currently living, but she is teaching us to just move ahead step by step into healthier ways of living, first coexisting, but then more and more moving into living in complete harmony with nature again. And trusting her for looking after us in all ways, for providing not just food but medicines, and that our divine team, Mother Earth, as well as all of divinity, is going to help us learn everything again. They're all looking forward to helping teach us all the knowledge that was lost because humanity has turned away from so many things that used to be common knowledge. But it is all coming back. It is all being revived. And thank you to our Ascending Collective for being the forerunners for the rest of humanity, for showing humanity the way out of the destructive lifestyle and out of darkness, and looking for the beauty in things again, and especially for the beauty in nature. Thank you. Oh, I need to move the tower back that has fallen, but I don't have any sticks I can easily grab, so I'll just quickly use the back of my rattle for a quick moment. It's not going to start burning. There we go. Oh. Ooh. this is perfect. Oof. All right, everyone, if you'd like to stay in these energies a bit longer, please pause the video. For the rest of us, let this ceremony now be finished. Sorry, let me just nip that in. Let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. Thank you so much for all your help and assistance. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly safe, shielded, and protected at all times. And wrap us in a massive protective bubble of divine golden light with a 12D shield completely sealing our energy field. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this ceremony, and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye.